Welcome along to a bumper match day live, a 6-game Sunday in the Premier League today, including 5 games kicking off at the same time. In the early kick-off, second from bottom Watford are at St Mary's to face Southampton. Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard looking for 4 wins in a row at West Ham. Our main game later on is Leicester's trip to Arsenal to see if Arsenal can regain their position in the top 4. Huge games at the bottom kicking off earlier on. Norwich, the bottom club, are at Leeds, who of course have lost both games under their new manager Jesse March. Everton have lost 4 and 5 under Frank Lampard. They welcome Wolves to Goodison Park. But our main focus in the early kickoffs is at Stamford Bridge, where Newcastle, unbeaten in 9, face Chelsea, who won their last 4 in the Premier League. And these are difficult times for Thomas Tuchel as he comes back to Stamford Bridge. He's made 4 changes to his team today. Sarr, Rudiger, Kante and Ziyech all come in. Jorginho captains Chelsea as a start as well for Timo Werner again. Romelu Lukaku is still a substitute. Only Liverpool have picked up more points in 2022 than Eddie Howe's Newcastle. He's freshened things up as well today. 4 changes after their win against Southampton. Manquillo, Lascelles, Longstaff and Almiron are all in for the start. And there is a boost on the substitutes bench for Newcastle as well, with the return of Alan Saint-Maximin. And it's looking healthy for Newcastle when they look over their shoulder. 10 clear of the bottom 3 today. As I say, Watford and Norwich have opportunities to make arrears. Huge games for Leeds and Everton, who are separated by just 1 point. Everton, though, 3 games in hand on Leeds United and 4 on Brentford. Newcastle win again, they could end up in the top half of the table. The title race, as we saw yesterday, down to 3 points. Manchester United went into 4th with that 3-2 win against Spurs. Arsenal will go back there if they beat Leicester in our late-game opportunities too for West Ham, Wolves, Villa and Southampton to make further progress today. What a day. And what a lineup. Ashley Williams at the back, Glenn Hoddle playing manager in the middle, and the man who scored more Premier League goals than anyone else, Alan Shearer up front. I think we have all angles covered. I'll be the rummy goalkeeper. What a day at top and bottom of the Premier League this is.
Really interesting day again, as you just said, from top all the way down. So many important, crucial games. So many points to be won at this stage of the season. We keep on saying it, but every game is important. Every game is crucial for the particular football club, and that's no different today.
And at the bottom, 2 games stand out, Ashley, in terms of the survival. Everton, your former club, at home to Wolves, and Leeds welcoming Norwich.
Yeah, I think the Leeds-Norwich game is massive for obvious reasons. I think Leeds need a win. You know, it's a must-win game now. We're in the part of the season where points matter, and for Everton, you know, they need points as well against a tough Wolves team. So it's going to be an important day for the bottom of the league as well. And
then later on, all the talk will be the top 4. Tottenham couldn't do it yesterday for you, Glenn.
No.
But Arsenal will go back there. They've won their last 4 if they beat Leicester.
Yeah, I mean, Leicester will be they're a difficult side to play against at the moment, Leicester, because you don't know quite what you're going to get. But Arsenal are in good form. They're looking good. I like the look of their youngsters. I think their youngsters are growing very quickly as players, and wouldn't surprise me in the next couple of years. It's choking me to say it, but they could be contending for the top of the league.
One of the many things we like about you is your neutral opinion.
Try to be.
Let's have a look at our main first game of the day, then, the team news at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Newcastle. Chelsea, first of all, as I say, 4 changes today. Timo Werner starts again. Romelu Lukaku only a substitute. And we think, Glenn, a back 4 today for Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, they could go into a 3, but Chalobah playing wing back, I'm not sure. So I reckon Chalobah might end up playing right back there. Not sure about Christensen there as right back. Who knows? But that 4 will change. They've played a 4 this year, but the midfield to me doesn't look quite as balanced as it normally would in that midfield area. But as you say, Werner coming in instead of Lukaku is a big question mark about his future, obviously, now. But the lad Havertz, for me, has done excellent. Since he's gone down the centre, doesn't really play as a focal man, but he's there more than not down the centre of the pitch. He's got very good movement, and I think he's almost come alive since Lukaku's not been in the team.
Who would you rather mark, Havertz or Lukaku?
Well, I've marked Lukaku every day when I was at Everton, and he's a tough player to play against on his day when he fancies it. Never played against Havertz, but I do like him, like Glenn said. Since he's come into the team, he's almost been unplayable at times. So both of them, tough marks, but I think that, you know, on current form, Havertz would be tough because he stretches you in behind, he holds it up, he's always a reference point for the team to play off.
And he's in form, 5 goals in his last 6 games. Talking of form, Alan loves this, 9 unbeaten, Newcastle United under Eddie Howe. He has freshened things up, though, and a change of shape as well from that win over Southampton. As I say, the likes of Longstaff are in, Lascelles, the captain as well, and Miguel Almiron get to start. And St Maximum back amongst the substitutes today for Newcastle.
Yeah, it's a team and a squad that is full of confidence, and rightly so after the run of results they've had. I mean, going to Southampton, which we know is a very difficult place to go, and take all 3 points. They did that, and they did it impressively. They had to work hard, they defended well. He has freshened it up today, made changes, so it's important that those guys who have come in to carry on the form that the players have been showing. Change the system, which will be interesting. I just wonder whether Eddie thought that Chelsea may play 3 and try to have matched them up, and he may be surprised in what Chelsea have done if they are going to play a 4 like we think they might. But they're in great form, and they can look forward to this game and hopefully get something out of it.
Has it surprised you, Ashley? 6 wins in 7 Premier League games, Newcastle, from where they were.
Yeah, it was very surprising because they didn't pick up, you know, any points for such a long time, and they wasn't playing very well. And like overnight, it seems to be it's just clicked. And confidence and momentum is such a big thing in football, and they've got that in abundance right now. So they'll be going to that game, you know, full of confidence, like Al said. It's completely different to how it was before, and they'll be expecting to pick up at least a point today, I think.
Eddie deserves huge credit, Eddie Howe, because not only the players that he's brought in have been so impressive, the players that were there already and he took over were really struggling before he got there, and he's transformed some of those players.
I think the problem as well is when he got COVID himself, if you remember.
Yeah.
He needed to be on that training ground in the early stages, and he didn't get the time with them. And I think that was key, and now he has had the time with them. You can see what he's been doing.
Yeah.
OK, well, of course, Chelsea go into this game back at Stamford Bridge on the backdrop of all the off-the-field headlines recently, and Jeff Shreves has been catching up with the manager, Thomas Tuchel.
It is hard to focus only on football, but as bad and as horrible the situation is in the Ukraine, and the situation that Russia started this war, which is incredible and unacceptable and horrible, there are so many things which are much more important than football. There is so much more, and there are so much more important jobs out there than mine. And that makes me feel uncomfortable because we are still very, very privileged.
You and the players were spoken to by the hierarchy of the club on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
What assurances were they able to give you in terms of being able to carry on business?
No assurances, and I think anybody who gives you an insurance should not be trusted because no one knows, this is my opinion, what's coming. 1 week ago, the statement was clear, the club is not for sale. 1 week later, it is obviously. So if anybody tells me today this is what's going to happen, I will not trust it 100% because we need to be flexible, and things turn out to be crazy enough to be upside down 1 day later.
What do you say to players who will come to you now who have uncertainty over their future? And of course, you've got to suspend negotiations with 3 players in particular.
Yeah.
Christensen, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, with regard to their future. What do you say to them right now?
You know, in times like this, sometimes the focus shifts. We are still in peace here. We are still healthy. We can still do what we love the most. So it puts things also into perspective. Of course, there are players who have uncertainties about future contracts, but maybe we can shift the focus. Maybe they can feel still the joy of being in a strong bonded group to win football games and have a pure pleasure from that, and that helps them a little bit to forget the uncertainty. I don't know, but nobody can come to my office and expect a solution because I don't have it, and maybe that's the solution, just to admit it.
You said right at the start, you know, we're living virtually day by day.
Yeah.
On that basis, have you suspended certain activities that you would undertake normally, i.e. looking at future targets with the analysts, potential sites? Is that pointless right now? But by the same token, the club could be sold to somebody else who would want that.
Exactly.
So what do you do?
To be prepared.
So what do you do?
More or less, we do what we normally do. If we stop looking at players, if we stop pushing our players, if we stop like talking to analysts and our scouting, whom do we help with that? Like it would like seem to give up, and then we will not prepare if it continues. It's the opposite. We do business as usual with a lot of distraction, but still the core and the attitude and the culture in the club in the building is the same.
Taking that narrative and moving it towards the football itself, how much have you got to face that challenge that it doesn't impinge on results?
We are all of a bit of the same here in this building. Once we arrive and once we smell the grass and once the ball is there, we will be competitive. These guys here, they are not normal guys. They are huge competitors. It's an elite group of sportsmen, and they have it in them. And to find the connection still to their core, no matter what's going on that we cannot influence, is the target that we have. It's more difficult than usual, it seems, and still we demand of it, and we try to get results, and yeah. We will not make up excuses now before we play the games, and it's not ideal, but it is what it is.
Remarkable honesty there from the Chelsea manager, Thomas Tuchel. I mean, nothing prepares you for that as a manager. Glenn, with your managerial hat on, do you have total empathy for him in that situation?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. I mean, that was a wonderful interview. He was so open. He spoke well, but he was open. It was like he was talking to anyone in his staff. But I think the key there was he was looking at all the positives. He was coming out with all the positives in a negative scenario. Yes, it is a distraction for them, but I think he said he needs to be flexibility. And I think as a manager, you have to be have that flexibility. You have that business as usual head on. And he's absolutely right. We know that. We've been in dressing rooms. We've played. I've been a manager. Alan's been a manager. When you get to the football ground, the training ground, when you get to the ground, if you're playing, as soon as that whistle goes, it is normal. It's business as normal. You switch off from everything that's in the peripheral and the outside. At the end of the day, you're a footballer or you're a manager, and that is what happens to a player. And then afterwards, you can deal with all these things, but you actually just cocoon yourself away for that match or that training session, and you're lucky. You're a lucky person if you're doing that for your living anyway. That's I've always been grateful for the gift I was given and the career that I had. So at the end of the day, I think you've got to look at the positives. And Tuchel there, you couldn't have had a more positive interview there on a very negative subject.
That's from a manager. You mentioned the word uncertainty there for the players. Put yourself in their situation from a playing point of view. How different, how difficult from a day-to-day?
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's an obvious distraction. It's no comparison to what is going on around the world. But like Glenn said, it's, you know, you're paid well to be a professional, and you've got your own personal pride. You've got to do your best for your club, for your fans, for your family. And the beauty of it is whatever's going on in your own personal life or wherever, as soon as that whistle's blown or you're on the training pitch, you kind of just get on with it. You're concentrating on the job in hand, and that is the beauty of playing football. So they're professionals. They'll get on with it when they need to get on with it and do what they need to do and what they're getting paid to do.
Alan, we're talking about players and managers here. You've all played, but you also have your clubs. You're a Newcastle fan watching them today as well as a pundit. What about the fans in all this for you?
Well, we just because fans of the football clubs doesn't stop you wanting the club to do well, supporting the club, wanting your club to go out and win trophies, but you don't have to agree with who or what your owners are. You can condemn wars that are going on around this world. I can do that, the guys can do that, and we do that. But that shouldn't stop you supporting your football club. Fans do never get a choice in who the owners are of football clubs. That's for the governments and the governing bodies to decide that. No one is going to stop me supporting Newcastle United. My granddad supported Newcastle, my dad did, I do, my son will, his kids will do that. But we do not get a choice in who the owners are.
Indeed, and it is all about the players today when they meet at Stamford Bridge. But when we come back, we'll have a look at some of the other key games going on as well. Most notably at the bottom, can Jesse Marsch get his first points as Leeds? And can Frank Lampard get his second win at Everton? We'll hear from both next.